everybody. Come on in. So happy to have you this week. I miss you so much. For this week's packet, there was something under the second and third grade packet that I thought was really good for my second graders up to fifth grade. They had a color wheel which you could just color in, but I'm also going to post something today that you could do with your family to make a color wheel at home. So look for that post. The other worksheet that I thought would be really good for all of us would be how to divide a circle into 5 equal parts. The only problem with this worksheet is you needed a protractor. And Mrs. Morris, she doesn't have a protractor. So I decided I was going to be creative and talk to you about how to divide a circle and do a design just by folding and thinking about fractions and math. So the first thing that I wanted to show you that you could do, because I have 3 or 4 different options that you could do for this lesson. And the artist that inspired me was Robert Delaunay. He's a French artist, and this is one of his artworks. And you'll see that Mrs. Morris is posting a video for you to watch about this artist. This particular mural that he did is about motion. So he used the element of a circle, which is shape, and the element of color, which he was really interested in, and the science of color. So that's why I chose him, because it has to do with our color wheel and it has to do with the shape of a circle. So the first project that you could do is really simple and really fun. You can get a piece of your parents' photocopy paper, and you just are going to take any round circle that you can find in your house. And I showed you these lids last week. You know, you can use all different size lids. So the first thing you're going to do is take this and trace it with your pencil. Okay. You're going to cut it out with your scissors like I did here. Okay. And you can do more than one. I just am going to show you how to do one. So the first thing you're going to do is divide this into half. So if we think about a fraction is 1/2. So that means we're folding it in half. And that gives us 2 equal parts, and that's why the 2 is on the bottom when you have a fraction. So there's my first fold. And I like to crease that with my thumb so it stays nice and I can definitely see that line. We've also talked about symmetry, which is also a math word that you learn in math, especially in 4th and 5th grade and 3rd grade, where when you cut something down the middle, both sides are the same. So I'm also going to fold this again, and that fraction would be 4ths. So now I have 4 equal parts, and that would be 4/4. So there's 4. Now, I could keep folding that and look at it and turn it this way, and that would give me another line of symmetry. And open that up, and I could fold it this way and have another line of symmetry. And make sure that you're creasing it each time. So when you open it up, this time you have 8 equal parts. That's 8/8. Okay? And it's really cool because if I turn this over, this is not going to be my artwork, but if I color that in, that means 2/8 of my circle is shaded in. So that's how you are actually doing math without even realizing it. You're doing it visually. So anyway, I'm going to turn it back over, and the other way that I'm going to fold it so that I can create some other lines within my, and that's kind of what they're doing here with a protractor. They're dividing it in other ways. So I wanted to show you that you can just do that by taking the edge of the shape, and folding it to the center and making a crease. And then I can do the same thing on the other side. And you can be as creative as you want with your folds. I like to open this back up so it's a little bit easier for me to see all those folds. And that gives me a lot of points where I could do my drawing. So wherever a line intersects, because those are intersecting lines, that is where I can have a point to know how to do my designs. So you see this is an intersecting line where that line hits that line. So now I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to decide how do I want to use those points to make a design. So this is my first design. I always like to put a dot in the middle to show where my center is. And maybe you want to use some of those lines in your design. So I'm just going to trace over maybe these two lines that I originally had that gave me force. And then I really like this diamond shape that I have here. So I'm going to use that. I can say, well, you know what? I want to add maybe a line going like this to this point and to this point so that it's like a square. So I'm actually looking at where those lines intersected and how they can give me a straight design all the way around. Okay. Here I'm going to put this, go over those lines that I actually folded into my design. And you can fold this many, many different ways, but make sure when you're folding it, you are dividing it equally. Okay. And you can see you have a radial design that no matter how you fold it, it's symmetrical any way you fold it. And you can even look for your lines of symmetry. So I have one line of symmetry here. If I fold it this way, this would not be a line of symmetry. So you can look for your different lines of symmetry. When you're done, you can think about how you want to change this design. So maybe here I'm just going to add lines going up to that one fold and give it a little different look. I could put circles on this line to come down. You know, if I do it on that side, I probably want to do it on the other side because this is a symmetrical design. But you can see all the things that you do. For this project, I really liked using my color pencils so that I can use value, taking a color from dark to light. So that was the one that I thought would be really simple for everyone to do. I want to show you some other things that you could do that is very similar to Delaunay's paintings. You know, here's another one. This was about his idea with science, about the propeller of an airplane. So in my picture, I tried to make something very similar also to Delaunay and thinking about motion and movement. So I tried to show like circles overlapping and moving. So all I did was take those shapes and kind of come up with a composition and think about the balance. So I, tried to think about how do I balance my composition. So this is another project that you could do. Another thing that I thought I showed you last week was these cereal boxes. You could take these cereal boxes and you can trace those lids on the inside of the box and make a sculpture using tape and markers. And at first I was thinking, okay, well, I don't really have to worry about the back, but I kind of didn't like that. So I glued the pieces together with my glue stick, and I also used some tape. So you can see they fall off really easily if you don't. And it's also about balance, really thinking about how can I balance my sculpture and use science again and thinking about balance. Don't feel like you just have to do an abstract artwork because this is abstract, but you could also think about using the shape of a circle and how many things can you draw with a circle. So I wanted to give you lots of options for this lesson. Make sure that you look at the pictures that I've provided and make sure that you are getting inspired by Robert Delaunay. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I look forward to showing you what we're going to do next week. Have fun. Make sure you send me a picture. Bye.